My name is Addison Rose Vincent. I use they and them pronouns, and I'm a proud, trans feminine, genderqueer, non-binary person. My parents allowed me and my sister a lot of opportunities growing up. And not just that, but my parents came from their own childhoods of violence and trauma. So they wanted to ensure that me and my sister never had that. So when I was around 5 years old, I was dressing up in my mom's clothing, and Dorothy from Wizard of Oz was like my idol. And I didn't know till later in life that like the Wizard of Oz is like an allegory for coming out. But Dorothy was my favorite, and I loved wearing like the blue dresses, and whenever my mom's friends would come over, they thought it was the funniest thing, they thought it was cute. And after a while though, they were getting worried. They were like, we're not sure how to deal with this, we're not sure how to support this. So they pushed me into more masculine things. So I did more baseball, football, basketball, hockey. Of course, I'm Canadian, so I have to do hockey. And I didn't like any of it, really. Terms and identities like non-binary and gender non-conforming were nowhere on my radar growing up. Like, I didn't have that language. I didn't have the language for even LGBTQ growing up. I had so many friends in Greek life, and to me, Greek life seemed like a really fun, social kind of environment. And I wanted to join that. So I rushed for a sorority. This was fall 2013, and I had learned in the process that 7 of the 8 sororities did not allow trans people in their sororities if they were out as trans. So only passing stealth trans people could be in sororities, you know, of course, without their knowledge. And only 1 of them did, but the only one that did, our values didn't align well. And so it was November now, and they were announcing that they were looking for candidates for the Delta Queen pageant, which is an annual event that happens at Chapman that's hosted by the Delta Tau Delta fraternity. And I reached out to my friends over at the Adelphos, which is a fraternity, and I say, hey, are you looking for a candidate? And they go, yeah, give us 20 minutes. They talked, and then they came back to me and they said, we want you to be our candidate. So I'm the only non-sorority girl who is representing a fraternity or sorority in this pageant. And I end up winning Miss Congeniality. I had a great time, and it was an amazing opportunity to have a platform. Like this platform was an awesome opportunity to share my story and to share why it's so important for trans people to be respected and to be honored. So since then, I've been exploring gender more and allowing myself to be beyond the binary and to play with gender, have fun with it, and help educate other people too as I learn more about myself. Every person uses a different term, and every person has a different definition for it. So it's really up to each person to tell you what it means for them, right? I can't give you a blanket definition for what trans feminine means or genderqueer means, because the next person's going to have a completely different idea. But for me, that's just what it is. I'm just fucking up gender, and I'm in between and outside your binary, and I love being feminine and expressing myself through femininity. I'm just me. I'm Addison, and that's just it. Last thing I want is for us to eliminate gender and identities and labels altogether, because to me that feels like a melting pot, right? Where we're just putting everyone into the same thing and getting rid of the labels, and then everyone mushes together to look the same. But then no one's celebrated, and you don't know who each person is because they're all just blending together. But what if we had millions of different gender identities and labels beyond the binary, so that people can pick and choose, and we can have so many different colors and shapes, and it becomes a cultural mosaic rather than a cultural melting pot? We're just right now in the beginning stages, I want to say, of really honoring non-binary people and terms and identities. And so I'm excited because in the next 100 years, we could have like so many more terms and words and like just a better language and vocabulary. So I'm excited for what the future holds. And at the same time, as we're looking forward, we need to also honor our past and know that non-binary people have been around for forever. I think of Mahu folks, right, in Hawaii. I think of Two-Spirit folks here in Indigenous America. And that this language, these terms, there's probably been so many more that we don't know about because they've been erased and because they've been just killed away. So I hope that as we move forward, we can create a really solid foundation so that we're never forgotten, while honoring those who have been forgotten.